Back to the another YouTube video. It's your boy Uriah G. Today we're gonna react to Dark and Disturbing Pro Wrestling Stories Part 1. He's a growing YouTuber. I'm gonna make sure Crash Hardy, I'm gonna make sure I put his video in the description for the support. And yeah, we're gonna react to Dark and Disturbing Pro Wrestling Stories Part 1. I had reacted to a little bit of it already while thinking I was recording, but the mic and the audio wasn't picking up. So the first part was Chris Benoit, and they were just talking about, the backstory, if you know, of what happened, for the wrestling fans who know about the backstory of that. But now we're gonna, since we got the audio back working, we're gonna do the next one, which is Owen Hart. So yeah, we're gonna do Dark and Disturbing Pro Wrestling Stories Part 1. Let's get right into the video.
Owen Hart passes away on live TV. Owen Hart is often considered to be one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. However,
definitely underrated too.
The first thing most people usually think of when they think of Owen Hart is his tragic death. On May 23rd, 1999, Owen Hart was scheduled to make a superhero-like entrance from the top of the rafters of the Kemper Arena in Kansas City. Unfortunately, the clip that was used to lower Owen Hart to the ring was a clip that was typically used for sailboats, meaning that when a load was put onto the clip, it would click open and immediately release. When Owen leapt off of the rafter to make his entrance, the clip immediately dropped him over 50 feet into the ring. Despite their best,
it's tragic to even think about this. Over the Edge 99, it's just, this is probably one of the most tragic wrestling things of all time. Events, tragedies. Owen Hart.
Best efforts, the paramedics could not save Owen Hart's life, and he was pronounced dead when he arrived at the hospital. This all unfolded while a live pay-per-view was going on. However, a vignette of Owen Hart in character as the Blue Blazer calling out the Godfather was airing at the time of his entrance. So the fall, thankfully, was not caught on camera, at least not on the pay-per-view feed.
What if you can create?
Come on, man. Here it is right now. Cause I'm trying to react to this video.
Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler had the unfortunate duty to let the fans know that Owen Hart had fell, and after the next match had aired, they unfortunately had to tell the entire world that Owen Hart had passed away. After this incident, the WWF still made the wrestlers wrestle, which was very disturbing to see because during the show you could see.
Yeah, the show should have stopped, but they of course they want to keep going. They gotta get paid for the show to keep going. The fans, I mean, who knows? There was probably people in that stadium that ended up leaving.
Owen Hart's blood on the ring mat. Martha Hart, Owen's widow, would end up suing the WWF and winning $18 million after proving that their negligence had caused her husband's death. To this day, Martha Hart will not let the WWF sell any merchandise of Owen Hart because she doesn't want them to profit from his legacy.
And I never knew about that. This is my first time hearing that, learning that. That's important information. So if I ever try to look for Owen Hart merch, you can't find it because, it's just, what they don't want is Owen's Hart merch to be sold, pretty much. So
Droz versus D'Lo Brown. On October 5th, 1999, during a SmackDown taping, D'Lo Brown and Droz were scheduled to have a one-on-one match. For the most part, this match went as planned. Droz cut a promo before the match started, and they pretty much had a standard WWF match up until the ending. During the end sequence of the match, D'Lo Brown went to execute his finisher, the running powerbomb, on Droz. However, due to the shirt Droz was wearing, D'Lo lost his grip and accidentally dropped Droz on his neck. Droz had stated that the second he hit the ground, he heard something crack in his neck. Immediately, referees knew something was wrong and stopped the match. Droz would be taken to a local
I
hospital.
think I've probably seen a video on this by WrestleMania or something, talking about this match, but I probably just don't remember.
Where unfortunately they would find out that he was completely paralyzed from the neck down.
Dang.
Thankfully, Droz's paralysis was not shown on television, as SmackDown was pre-taped, so they removed the match from the footage. The match has never fully been released, and never will. The only footage available from this incident in video form is Droz being carried out of the ring on a stretcher, which was used in WWE's Don't Try This at Home PSA. Droz never held a grudge against D'Lo Brown, and they remained friends. Despite Droz's disability, he never let it stop him from doing the things he loved. Droz even had a custom tank-like wheelchair built, that way he could go up in the woods for hunting purposes. The WWF made sure that Droz was taken care of for the rest of his life. He even at one point was a writer for WWE.com. Sadly, in 2023, Darren Drozdov passed away from natural causes. In a recent interview, D'Lo Brown stated that he would only accept a WWE Hall of Fame induction if Droz was inducted with him. The final years of Andre the Giant. Andrei Rousimov, better known as Andre the Giant, is one of the most recognizable figures in all of pro wrestling.
Definitely monumental. I mean, when you think about WWF, you think about Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant. There's so many names, Ultimate Warrior.
However, despite being a professional wrestling icon, Andre the Giant's life was no picnic. For starters, Andre had a condition called acromegaly, a condition that causes you to grow and grow and grow and grow, which is how Andre ended up becoming the 7'4", 520-pound behemoth he was known for being. Andre also suffered from alcoholism. Andre the Giant was known to consume over 100 cans of beer a night. Lots of people
I already knew about this fact, but hearing it again,
people celebrate Andre's feats of being able to drink over 100 beers, but it's most likely that Andre was
impressive. But look, it's just not good, man. It's too much. Andre the Giant, he was a good wrestler. I think I've seen. I mean, he wasn't much of a great wrestler, but he is part of history. And I can say I've seen a match where it was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, and Andre the Giant was the face and Hulk Hogan was the heel. I don't know, I could be wrong, but it was something like they had another match with each other, but it was different gimmicks. Like Andre the Giant wasn't Andre the Giant, he was a whole different gimmick, and I don't know.
Self-medicating. During Andre the Giant's later years of his career, he could barely perform. Andre had a lot of trouble walking or even taking bumps in the ring, which is why most of Andre's later matches consisted of him.
Well, why 100 though? That's what I'm trying to understand. Why did he drink 100? Maybe he just had a lot of, maybe he just feel his stomach could handle all of that. So, 100? But like I said, I don't know. That's a fact I already knew.
Just chopping or punching his opponents. One of the most notable moments of Andre's health decline being apparent was during the filming of The Princess Bride. At one point,
and the only reason why I can't say Andre the Giant was a really great wrestler is because people don't even say he is. He's really just a giant, He's a good wrestler, but he's not like a great wrestler. Like, if someone could put in the comments what I mean, like, he's definitely part of history, don't get me wrong, but he's just not. Because they said, like, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant wasn't really a good match.
point, they had to record a scene where Andre the Giant would catch actress Robin Wright after she falls out of a tower. However, Andre's back was in such bad shape that he couldn't even hold her up, and they had to use a harness. Another problem for Andre was that he had a very hard time fitting into society. Very few places could accommodate his size. He usually had to pay for 2 airplane tickets when flying overseas somewhere. Andre also had trouble using normal-sized toilets.
Hold on, let me look at his age when he passed. What age was Andre the Giant? He was young. Definitely see it.
A lot of cases at hotels, he would have to defecate in the bathtub. Andre also had a daughter named Robin, who he didn't get to see very much due to being on the road constantly with the WWF. In a lot of later photos of Andre, you can see in his eyes how badly he's in pain. The sad truth is that Andre the Giant's health was declining so rapidly that even Vince McMahon couldn't ignore it, and Vince eventually stopped booking him in matches, leading to Andre going back to Japan. The sad fact was, wrestling was all that Andre had. There was no other job that he could do. He knew wrestling and he loved it more than anything in the world. In January of 1993, Andre the Giant's father passed
And he was WWF champion. See, that's what I'm saying. He's part of history, so.
away. This would lead to Andre going back to the country he had been born in, France, where he would attend his father's funeral. Andre the Giant would end up staying in France for 3 more days to visit with his family and his friends. On the 3rd day, he went back to his hotel room to get some rest and what would unfortunately be his final sleep. On the morning of January 28, 1993, Andre the Giant was found dead in his hotel room. His cause of death was congestive heart failure. He was 46 years old. On the episode of Raw after Andre's passing, the WWF did a 10-bell salute to honor the legacy of Andre the Giant. And then the next year, around WrestleMania, Andre the Giant would become the first member of the WWE Hall of Fame.
First member of Hall of Fame.
When Andre passed away, he left his entire fortune to his daughter. Andre the Giant will live on as one of the most fascinating professional wrestlers that ever lived.
That's why we still got they honor him with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
But not only was Andre's wrestling career legendary, his role in The Princess Bride...
Oh yeah, you can't forget about his acting. I mean, like, he even did a little, like, acting even in WWE. It was like a WWF thing back in the Saturday Night's main event. Back in, like, the 80s. Where he was, like, dancing and singing and stuff. So yeah, he has some acting roles. You know, wrestlers been in acting since that WWF too, so.
has forever cemented him as a pop culture icon. Juana Barraza.
I don't know too much about. I don't want to really get into this because I don't want to make this too long of a. I don't want to make this too long of a video. So if I don't know the wrestler, I'm gonna skip past it. That attire though, hold on, before we actually start. Look like that attire looks cool and it looks familiar, but it's not like a WWE attire. Probably saw it in a different promotion. She probably from like New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know, some different type of promotion or something. But nah, hold on. We're only gonna cover the people that we know.
Crash Holly's
I know Crash Holly, so we're gonna do Crash Holly.
unfortunate end. Michael Lockwood, better known as Crash Holly, worked for the WWF/WWE from 1999 till 2003. Crash would be a popular lower mid-card star during the WWF's Attitude Era, where he would notably win the Hardcore Championship 22 times. Crash Holly would have a really good year
Is that more than R-Truth? Not quite.
in 2000, winning both the Hardcore Championship and the European
22 is impressive though.
Championship. In early 2000, the Hardcore Championship would be defended 24/7 by Crash Holly. This would see him get into comedy angles with people such as the Mean Street Posse, the Headbangers, and the APA. Crash would ride this wave of success into early 2001, where he would be booked not as frequently, but he was still being featured on shows like Heat. However, by late 2001, Crash was being booked less and less due to the influx of talent that came in from the closures of WCW and ECW. By early 2002, Crash Holly would hardly ever be seen on Raw and could only be seen wrestling on Heat. This, accompanied by the fact that the Hardcore Championship was retired in August of 2002, meant Crash didn't have a whole lot to do on the roster. However, he wasn't done just yet, as Crash was traded to SmackDown in late 2002 and would be frequently featured on SmackDown and Velocity. In early 2003, Crash Holly would join a faction with Shannon Moore and Matt Hardy called the Mattitude Followers. However, Crash's WWE career would not last much longer. According to Crash's former tag team partner Bob Holly, Crash was never afraid to let management know that he wasn't happy with how he was being booked. Allegedly, Crash Holly was released in May of 2003 due to a disagreement with one of the writers. After being released by WWE, Michael Lockwood would fall into a deep depression that was also fueled by the fact that his wife wanted to leave him. Lockwood would find his way back into the wrestling business after signing a contract with TNA Wrestling, where he would wrestle as Mad Mikey. The Mad Mikey character was very similar to the character of Crash Holly, just seemingly more silly. At some point in November of 2003, Lockwood's wife sent him divorce papers. At this time, Crash was not living with his wife. He had been living in Florida with fellow wrestler Stevie Richards. On November 5th, 2003, one of Crash Holly's friends, who happened to be a state trooper in Connecticut, called the police department in Florida to let them know that they needed to do a wellness check on Crash Holly to make sure that he was okay, because apparently the night of November 5th, Holly had called this man and sounded very depressed over the phone. On November 6th, 2003, the police showed up at Stevie Richards' home in Florida, and what they found was shocking. Upon entering the premises, they found Crash Holly laying face down, partially.
Okay, so, he committed. Okay, because I was like, I didn't know what happened with Crash Holly. I was really trying to wait for him to get to what was the topic, but yeah.
Clothed in a pool of his own blood and vomit. According to the police investigation, Lockwood had intentionally overdosed with a mixture of carisoprodol, which is
It's just messed up, and a lot of these wrestlers, they go through this stuff like mental problems, and wrestlers, it's like they take some, like some of them, they used to take steroids, that messed them up too. And then like some of these wrestlers, they probably, I don't know, injuries, then they have personal life problems that could affect them too. So yeah, it's just wrestlers and all that. Wrestlers, athletes. Let's continue the video.
a muscle relaxer, and Southern Comfort, which is an alcoholic beverage. He was 32 years old. After Lockwood's passing, SmackDown Magazine, a subsidiary magazine from the WWE, did an article.
I mean, he definitely contributed to the hardcore title. I could say that.
All about Holly's achievements in the ring, and asked his fellow wrestlers to give their stories of him. Superstars such as John Cena, Rhino, Tajiri, and Eddie Guerrero all had nice things to say about Crash Holly. Lockwood is survived by his daughter Patricia. Crash Holly was never a world champion or a main eventer, but he did a damn good job at wrestling.
Yeah, he's a good in-ring competitor though.
And he was always entertaining to watch. Crash Holly happens to be my favorite wrestler, and it was the inspiration for my YouTube name. Crash Holly will forever be synonymous with the Attitude Era and the Hardcore Championship, and he will always be remembered as one of the greatest underdogs in WWE history. Hey guys, Crash Hardy here.
Alright, that was Dark and Disturbing Pro Wrestling Stories Part 1. I'll make sure to put his video link in the description, in my description. Tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I got more videos coming. Stay tuned. And yeah, subscribe, like, comment, and yeah, more videos coming. Uriah out.